let people know you for a standard. Even if it's ice water, you know, there's a difference between bottled water and pure water, then pure water and ice water. You know, ice water, so you take normal well water, you put this nylon, you tie, put this in the freezer.
Just a good block.
That's ice water. So even if you're selling ice water, sell it with pedigree, with a standard, right? Not the one you sell ice water, you put ice water with ice fish inside freezer.
Inside the same fridge.
You know what I'm saying, right? So someone that takes your water to drink, they will not drink your water and be smelling like fish. Because you have put the water and fish together. It's a pedigree problem. Create that devotion to high pedigree.
Hello, everybody. Today, I'm your host on Be My Host with Architect Apeh Harrison. It's a great honor to be here. I have some intriguing and interesting questions that I personally would love to ask him, and I'm sure people out there would want to know the answers to this question. Welcome, very.
So thank you very much, LORDSKING, and I'm honored to have you be the host.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so let's get down to it. My first question is, or something that has been bothering me personally, how does one determine the amount or the level of risk that you should be taking in your business at a given time or at a given level of the business? Like, I can be earning maybe in hundreds of thousands, and you know, at some particular point you have to evolve, you have to do some things. So Architect Apeh Harrison, please tell me, because I know that you have ascended in business and finance. So please tell us, how do I know the level of risks I should be taking?
Okay, thank you. So interestingly, we had just done a lecture on calculated risk, you know, and I think this is a very critical question. One of the things that I want to say is that every business has their risk. Every business. Even the job that you take with a company, there's risk to it, right? So everything that we do will require a measure of risk. In fact, every single day we are taking risk, just that many of them are unintentional or not calculated. But essentially, we are taking risk every day. But the culture of being able to manage risk is something that we need to have if growth is a goal. If there's any form of commitment, a drive, a pursuit for growth, then we must understand the science of risk, right? And I'm happy that you're saying that what sort of risk is healthy for needed growth, because not every risk is healthy.
True.
Even though risk is essential, we still have bad risk and we have good risk. Certain things that we do in taking risk can be a bad decision. And there are other things we can do in taking risk that are fantastic decisions. So first things first, I would say that once you want to take a risk in any kind of growth venture, because your real question here is about growth, you want to shift to the next level in business and career, how do you estimate the measure of risk that is allowed or that's healthy? So the first thing is to say, analyze the risks that are possible. What are the risks that are possible in the growth that you desire? So you want to increase your business in, let's say, media or whatever it is you're doing now. What are the associated risks that are possible? Because many times we embrace new opportunities without analyzing the possible risk. Every opportunity that comes with a commensurate risk. Even the opportunity to get married.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so even when you see a girl you really like, we are so excited about the love and the romance that we don't take our time to analyze and to assess the risk associated with that romance. So I would say that the first thing you should do is analyze, identify the risk that is associated with your growth. What are the possible things that could go wrong? And you measure it side by side with all the possible things that can go right. Many times we just want to focus on the prospect. Nobody wants to talk about the problems. You know, so I like her, she's beautiful. How about her family members? You know, how about her belief system? How about her work ethics? Because you could marry a woman who is a fantastic friend, but she's so devoted to her work that she will spend 20 hours at work and 4 hours at home.
Wow.
So you need to, first of all, as you embrace the prospect, analyze what are the possible risks involved. And then you now begin to ask yourself, how much of your resources are you willing to expose to that risk? Is that making sense to you? Yeah, so now that I've analyzed the risk, I now think that instead of putting 500,000, I would have put 100,000. You can't take that kind of educated decision if you have not first taken the time to analyze the risk in the venture or the growth that you pursue. So when you analyze the risk, sometimes it may inform you that there's a need to reduce your exposure, and it may inform you on the need to increase your exposure. So it's like, this thing is so good that I want to even increase my commitment, or this thing is so risky that I'm going to reduce my commitment, or it's so risky I will just walk away. So I would say that the first thing that many of us fail to do is to take time, because we are usually driven by the excitement to win, the excitement to grow, the excitement to change, the excitement to blow, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
That we don't take the time to see all the cracks in anything, and that's what we do here. When we won't do business proposals, or we try to go for loans with the bank, we just analyze what are the prospects of what I want to do, or the growth. I want to now grow from 1 branch to 2 branches, but what are the risks involved? You don't take the time to analyze that. So if you do analyze that, then it will help you determine what is safe to expose and what is not safe to expose. Do I increase my exposure? Do I reduce my exposure? Or do I just walk away? All right. So that measure of control cannot be established until you identify and then you analyze the risk in itself. All right. Yes. But bear in mind that not every risk is a bad risk. Risk is a requirement for growth. Your coming here today was a risk. Do you understand? And when you watch the podcast and the lecture on risk management, which I think you should, you'll hear a lot more about that. But I mean, everything that we do requires a measure of risk. But not every risk is a good risk, and not every risk is a bad risk. You need to analyze. One of the things that I did say in that lecture was to analyze the probability of the risk and the impact of the risk. You may have high probability but low impact. Yes. You may have low probability but high impact. Once you marry those two together, it will help to let you know if it's a good risk or if it's a bad risk.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lovely. Okay. Please, we all need to sit back on this and really digest it very well. That's lovely from Apeh Harrison. Yeah. Now to my second question. As a young man, or as young people, as old people, we have, I think, cultivated a habit in Nigeria that everybody thinks about saving. You're earning 150,000, you want to save, even if it's 30 or 40. So for me, as a successful entrepreneur that has been able to save, I think it goes beyond just saving to survive now. The tides of inflation and everything. It transcends to multiplying the money that is with you. So how do I learn to multiply money and not just save? Because money dormantly, it doesn't do anything. And since money is currently losing value, if I'm just saving and keeping it, in a couple of months or years from now, it's nothing. So how do I really learn to multiply the money that I'm getting and not just store it somewhere like one looting politician or something?
So I mean, I like the word saving because one of the things that you can associate save with is safe. So first of all, when you save money, the money is safe. So if you want just safety, then save. If your goal is safety, that I just want my money to be safe, then save. Did you get that? Yeah, so, but some people, that's their dream. I don't want to multiply my money. I just want my money safe. So if that's your goal, then you save money. And I always say that if you can't make more money, save more money. Because sometimes not everyone has the acumen for investments in the real sense of it, to say I'm plunging money into an investment that has greater returns. Some people don't have the acumen for it. All right. Not everyone has the spirit of the entrepreneur. So if that's not for you, then keep your money safe by saving it. Because I think we also have a lecture on that where we talked about the power of being liquid. So there is an investment portfolio, there's a cash portfolio. There's an asset portfolio, there's a business portfolio. So there are many forms of portfolios. So when you say I'm saving money, you are building a cash portfolio. Okay. When you are buying lands and you are buying properties, you are building your investment portfolio. When you are trying to sell services and products, you are building your business portfolio. Do you see that now? So whichever one you choose to go with, it's not a bad deal, but you should have one. If you don't have investment portfolio, have cash portfolio. Okay. Have asset portfolio, have business portfolio, but at least have one. So if your own drive is to multiply money, like you said, and you want to get your money to work for you, you know, when you save money also, it gives you power. Just for the record, that money in the account can give you power. Because sometimes, just for those who want to save, I just want to clear the out, create a balance. For those who want to save, saving gives you power. Because let's say you see somebody tomorrow who wants to japa to Canada, all right? And they want to sell their beautiful car. And the market value of that car is, let's say, 5 million naira. But because they want to travel next week, they are willing to sell it for 1 million or 1.5 million naira. It's only those who have savings that can take advantage of the opportunity.
Yes.
So, and then that cash available gives the person the power to negotiate. You say, okay, you want how much? Say 1.5. Okay, what if I give you 1.2 now? Will you take it? Not half payment. I'll give you now. See, you say, oh my God, I really want 1.5. Bear in mind that car is worth 3 million naira. And because he wants the money quickly, he's selling for 1.5. Then because you have the cash, you can push it down again. I say, I love your car. I like the papers. Everything is cleared out. But if you want this thing sold now, I can pay you 1.5 million, 1.2 million naira now. So it's the cash portfolio that gives you the power to be able to embrace that opportunity. And that could be even for a land that you want to buy or something else you want to do. That you have the cash, you have the option. I mean, have the business, but I don't have the cash. So I can't buy that car. I can't buy that house. I can't buy that land. So cash also gives you power. However, if your goal is to multiply what you have saved, then you're not looking at the prospects for investments. And you want to make sure that you, again, embrace the principles of control and exposure. That's a very fundamental principle in investments. Once you want to invest money, invest in something that you can exert a measure of control over, and invest in something that does not overexpose you at every single time. And many times, before you also plunge money into an investment, whether it's a business or it's an asset, take your time to learn the details of the nature of that investment. Don't say because everybody is doing farming or doing poultry farming, I want to do poultry farming. That is working for everybody doesn't mean it's meant for you. True. Do you understand? So you want to analyze it based on the context of your lifestyle. Do I have the time for poultry farming? Do I have what it takes to give it that attention that is required? Do I have the people that I can engage to help me run the business? Does my current environment need this business? Right? Or do I just buy water and sell? Because, they don't have good water around here. So can I just buy water and resell? Can I I'm in an office where people are always walking too far to go and eat. Can I just find a way to sell small chops in my workplace? You see that now? So even though someone else might be selling phones and selling tablets and laptops, you may not be able to do it because of the context of your lifestyle. So you need to capture the context of your lifestyle and what your lifestyle can make room for. Then you analyze the aspect of control and the aspect of exposure. And I will always say that let your business grow itself. So I say that to say that always begin small. And I know that there's a need to impress. There's a need to show something on Instagram on Facebook that shows that LORDSKING is doing something big. I'm so proud of you. You're doing something big. Yes, it looks good on camera, but it's always safer to begin an investment in a seed form and let the seed grow itself. Nurture it. Give it time. Plan around it. Build strategy into it. Build methods around it, and let it grow itself. So I know you want to open a media company, but why are you starting with 5 cameras? When your savings or your income can afford you one fairly used camera and one fairly used lens, can you begin with that? Many years ago, this is a very important story. Mr. Kasim Brima, he's the producer and director of the popular Yawa series. Yeah. He's gone very big now. He's doing Fame People and many other online shows that are doing very well. But would you believe if I said to you that when I met Kasim Brima many years ago, and he did his first Yawa skit that got my attention, he used only one camera for the whole skit. So there's a skit where the character Callistus was running across alleys of a street and a neighborhood, and he had to take like 5 to 7 different angles using one camera. Wow. So he will run, he will position the camera on one point, the character will run, he will go back again, he put the camera on a different angle, he will run, he will put the camera on a different angle, he will run only one camera. Wow. And that video was a hit. It was so much of a hit that I committed to being an executive producer to that show for a few years. I was so impressed. One camera. Now he can buy 20 cameras. Sure. Because the seed of his investment has grown itself to the size it has now. But many of us would rather go and borrow money and buy 5 cameras for an investment we have not tested. So always control your exposure.
Lovely.
Does that make any sense?
It makes so much sense now because now we don't have to expose ourselves too much.
Yes, and too quickly.
And
good ideas can wait. And I think the Gen Z need to hear this. You can wake up in the morning and say you had a vision. You saw Abraham drop down from heaven and said to you, my son, start selling shoes. But listen, every good idea by inspiration or from God can wait. Many times when God says do a thing, you don't wait long enough to ask when. He can plant an idea in your heart meant to be done in 5 years' time. But it will come so loud, so fresh in your thoughts that it feels like I need to start this tomorrow, right now. But meanwhile, it's an idea in your spirit that can wait for the next 5 years, even for 10 years. Do you understand? And many of us can do that. Joseph had a dream. And it was so palpable. He began to vibrate and tell everybody about it.
Yes.
And he felt that, this dream will happen in like 2 years at the most. I'm okay. So when the father gave me the coat of many colors, confirmation.
This is the truth.
The prophecy, there is prophecy. Yeah. So, all right, he began to broadcast it. And then he went into the pit. It's okay, God will still do it. After this pit, I know my shift has come. Yes, the shift came, he went into slavery. He said, with this promotion, fine now, my parents and everybody will bow. From there, he went into prison. And eventually, he went to the throne. So many things that we think we need to do now, many of them need to wait. Because nothing brings beauty like time. Time. And in a child, sometimes the beauty of the blessedness of having a child is in time. So you give birth to that child, he's pooing everywhere, he's making a mess of your house every time, but just give it time. In 20 years, in 25 years, he will buy your first car, he will buy your first house. You know what I'm saying? So just like a child that you nurture to greatness, that's how ideas are. It takes time. So sometimes you may have to nurture the idea, plan around the idea, dream about the idea, re-dream about the idea, and then in time, you unleash the idea. But good ideas can wait.
Wow. Good ideas can actually wait.
Yes.
Okay, lovely. From Apeh Harrison.
Yeah.
So, to my next question, I was in one of your teachings some time back where you taught about how businesses can be boats, businesses can be tents, businesses can be houses.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Now,
yeah.
that teaching really stuck with me because it's just showed how there could be transitions for different points in life. And there should be transitions. You can be in a particular place and, you don't have to be a house when there's just water and you just have to sail through. So this question now is there a progression to growth? And how do I track the progression? When should I progress? Should I do this now? Should I progress now? Or should I just be fine?
Lovely. And it's interesting you bring this lecture, so I think it was on how to build the future. That was a lecture. This was many years ago. It was after COVID-19. Yeah. So, and then everybody was afraid. So I was trying to teach about how to build arcs, how to build something big that can float. Because, it was a very fluid time. People were afraid. People didn't know how to adapt to the new realities of COVID-19. And I said, you can still build something great and make it float. Right? So I was talking about building tents. That means, this is powerful, really, because many businesses are meant to be tents, but we build them as houses, and that's why we have problems. A tent is something you can build and move. It's light, it's simple, it's fast. So many times we are meant to start a business that are like tents that you can build and move, but we insist that we must build them as houses with foundation. No, some businesses are best left at the tent level. Light, simple, mobile, right? You can build and move like the shepherds, just build, move. And then other buildings can be built like a boat. They are simple, they are not covered, they are used as a tool to fish something from the water. So you stay on them, but it gives you access to float on in a place that gives you the chance to go deeper and pull things out. So that is like the boats kind of business, right? Then I talked about the actual house that now has an address. Tents don't have address, boats don't have address, but the house has got an address. So some businesses can now become like a house where you can build and be there for 50 years, 20 years. And then of course I said the ark is like a house on the boats. That is like a big house that can take all the animals, all your family, but it can move, it can float, it can just, it can take the shape of the times. And I'm happy that you're bringing this up because part of the error that we have is that many of us are building tents where we should be building houses, and building houses where we should be building tents. We are using tents where we should be using boats, using boats where we should be using tents, And to the question of the nature of growth and the stages of growth, I would make reference to, what I call the circle of growth. Now, there are 4 circles, like in biology, let's say circle of, So there are 4 circles of growth in my definition. Number 1 is the survival phase. Number 2 is the adaptation phase. Number 3 is the thriving phase. And number 4 is the outgrowing phase. So usually once you want to start any kind of growth, there'll be a sense of survival. And it is very powerful. Now, in that place of survival, usually small is big. When you're trapped in the wilderness and you catch a rat, not chicken. If you have been stranded in the wilderness, let's say for 5 days, and you're surviving on just water, and you catch a rat, that rat will taste like the best meat on earth. Rats, you see, you will do single, because you are surviving. And many times in life, we are in a survival phase of growth. And in that phase of growth, you must appreciate the small things. Even if it's a rat, take it, eat it with joy, with excitement, because it gives you a chance at life. And that's what we do sometimes even on a job. That's why I don't support the idea of saying, you cannot do a job. No, because every growth requires survival. And sometimes, at the phase I'm in, the only way to survive is a job. I don't even like the job. I don't even like the boss. But the job gives me a chance at survival. For now, I can pay my rent. I can send daddy and mommy 10,000 naira. I can just be okay till my day breaks. So you have the survival phase. Even in marriage, yes, we're just married now. Everything doesn't seem to be working, but it's the first phase. It's survival. Now, when you are able to outgrow that survival. Because if you remain only in survival forever, then you have a problem. Because if you have truly survived, you will not start adapting. Oh my God. Because even in that wilderness that you are trapped, that you're once eating rats, give it 3 months. That wilderness becomes a home. You now know that, okay, by 5 a.m., the antelope normally comes out.
Yes.
You see that now?
Yeah.
So you don't have any business with rats anymore. You have now adapted to the wilderness. You now know how to catch fish, how to catch antelope. You have even trained a tiger to be your protector. You know what I'm saying, right? Because you've adapted to even the hostile environment. So if you're truly growing, you will move from survival, where you're afraid every night. You are trying to survive. What will I eat tomorrow? Then you're now adapting. Even if it's a cold climate, you have adjusted. If it's a hot climate, you have adjusted. By what? Adaptation. So in business, in marriage, in school, in career, you can adapt. You first begin with the struggle of surviving, then you adapt. Then when you adapt, what happens? You start thriving. You now become the dawn. You're now doing well. You're now doing lovely. Things are now looking fresh. All right. Where you once struggled, that business you were once struggling with, trying to borrow 10,000, trying to get customers. Now you're not trying to manage the customers. There are not too many. They are not thriving. The problem that we have is that many people get stuck at thriving. Once you begin to thrive, the next phase is outgrow. You see that now? So you must know when you've come to a place to outgrow. Now, this is a very, very, very important point for everyone. Is that once you outgrow, you need to plunge yourself into the next phase. And mostly, when you plunge yourself into the next phase, you begin again to survive. So you see that even Dangote, who was the dawn of spaghetti, sugar, flour, when he moved into a refinery, there was survival now.
Yes.
It was a new environment. A multi-billionaire in dollars. Now he's doing something that he's trying to survive. Even when he finished the refinery after how many years, he came to the market and the government was battling with him, he was surviving. And then maybe after a few years, he'll start adapting. Then after a few years, he'll start thriving. Then who knows, he will now grow and build another refinery in South Africa. Who knows? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But however big you are, you will keep going through these 4 phases if you're truly growing. Every time in your life, you are either going to be surviving, adapting, thriving, or outgrowing. And the moment you outgrow, the power of outgrowing is that it makes you feel small again. You know what I'm saying, right? So you now reset again because you have not outgrown to a new place. In that new place, you were once very big here. Then you're now outgrowing to a new place. In that new place, and you now become smaller. You now begin to survive again. What you could do with 10 million, now you need 50 million to do. So when you were enjoying 10 million, you began with 10,000. You now start making 10 million. You now became a big boy. They gave you chieftaincy title. Igwe, Odogo. So you now became the Odogo of that phase. Then you now outgrow it to a new place. Then you now realize that, that my 10 million is no longer big again, because I'm now in a new phase. In this new phase, only 50 million can get me to survive here. So you've not left being a big boy, 10 million naira guy to the small guy trying to raise 50 million naira. And that's the way we must look at growth. Even in marriage, as a father, as a husband, you will always keep changing. There's a husband without being a father. So that's a phase. Just having to be a husband is a phase. You survive it, you adapt to it, you thrive in it, you outgrow it, and you become a father. It's a whole new life. True. Then you're now father of 1, father of 2. Then so it keeps changing. Then when your kids are toddlers, you require a kind of fatherhood. When they become teenagers, you have to evolve again. To surviving. So you that was the great father, raising them up, hey, everywhere. Daddy, I love you. Suddenly now, you are saying, talking to him, he's not doing like this. You're not able to readjust yourself. Like, do I slap this boy? Do I kick this boy? You now have to start surviving a new season of fatherhood with a child you've been with for 12 years. The way you now survive it in teenage years, you start adapting. Okay, this is how teenagers are. Okay, this is how they like their privacy. Okay, if I like to carry him everywhere, I can't carry him anymore. If I like to kiss him, I can't kiss him in public, he'll feel ashamed and embarrassed. You're now surviving, then you adapt, then you thrive, then you outgrow. So those, in my opinion, are the 4 phases of growth, and you will keep going through them in everything, even your spiritual life. You will survive, you will adapt, you will thrive, you will grow, and you keep going through those cycles.
Lovely. Guys, please let's keep this circle. Let's keep this circle at heart.
Yes.
Even if you don't pick anything, this circle is very, very key, because it's more like it's a must.
It's a must.
It's a must.
If you want to grow, for those who are growing, it's a must. It's a constant. You can, if you are stuck in survival, you are not growing. If you are stuck in adaptation, you cannot always be adapting in your life.
Yes.
A point must come, you must thrive. And if you thrive and you just camp there, then you're also not doing well. You must at some point outgrow. If you're truly growing, you outgrow. Even in marriage, you outgrow. There's a time it was okay to give your wife feeding money. Just giving her feeding money,
she'll be fine.
it was okay, she's fine. But the point comes, she's done so much as a wife, as a mother. Take her on a trip now. Take her on a trip. You can't keep saying, I'm the man of the house. I give you guys money for food. What else you want from me? There are other things we want from you, sir. Take her to London. Take her to London, sir. 10 years ago, you gave her money for feeding. 10 years after, it's only money. Take her
To London. That's
to
right.
Paris.
That's
You know what I'm saying? So it's for everybody. Yeah.
Lovely. Let's move along.
Okay.
Now, sir, this is more business relationship, and partnership. How do I cohabit with a partner that is not growing at the pace that I am growing? Business-wise, relationship-wise, even spiritual-wise. And I have a partner, I have a business partner that probably has bought shares in my company. And then mentally or financially, the person is not growing at a pace that I need to grow. And I'm already moving from survival to adaptation.
You're not thriving.
I'm trying to thrive. And the
still-
person is
still
surviving.
surviving.
The person is still surviving.
Yeah.
How do I fix this?
So this is a very beautiful question. I think the danger that many of us face is that we try to force friendship into different seasons. There are people that can journey with you across seasons. There are those who can't. There are many who can't. So there are partners that did well with you when you were surviving. And when you begin to thrive, like you said, they are stuck at survival. And it looks like you've become their enemy, even though you're trying to help them come up hither. But they won't move. Or you have, a friend or a fiance that just won't move. And that's dangerous, right? And for dynamic relationships that are not permanent, marriage is permanent.
Yes.
You can't say, my wife is not growing the way I want her to grow, so I will move on. They are permanent relationships and they are dynamic, ones. So permanent is marriage, but if you're not married to the person, like your father is your father, whether he grows or doesn't grow, your brother is your brother, even though he's your brother, you can't do everything with your brother, right? Or your sister, you can't do everything with your sister. So the measure to which you commit yourself to them, or you allow them to gain power over you, should be determined by how they align with your growth process. Does that make any sense? So you may not be able to cut everybody off, but the measure to which you commit yourself to them, and the measure to which you allow them to have power over your life in that partnership, whatever kind of partnership, whether it's father and son, siblings and siblings, fiance, marriage, whatever it is, you need to find a way to create that balance, that you determine the commitment you have in their lives and the power they have over your life by the alignment they have with your growth process. So some people are not aligning properly with your growth process. You must now find a way to distance their power over your life or your commitment to their lives, even if you can't cut them off completely. For some of them that are very dynamic, you cut them off. Because many people can't journey with you through the seasons of your life. They were good for you 5 years ago. They are very dangerous in your life 5 years after. Do you understand? They were a blessing to you 5 years ago, and the blessing that you will appreciate for a lifetime. But 5 years after, they have become a cost to you. Walk away. Certain spaces cannot accommodate everybody.
True.
Do you get my point now? That we're both suited for that room does not mean we can all fit into the lift. The room was big enough to house all of us. But when it comes time to move from one level, one floor to the next floor, we need to all go into the elevator, and the elevator has weight limits. Oh, you didn't get it. I didn't say size limits, weight limits. Have you seen the elevators? And they say so kg allowed.
Yes.
So some people are too heavy for you to carry up. Leave them on the floor they belong. Go up there, and maybe you can build a bigger elevator and come back and get them. But don't force them into an elevator that cannot accommodate them on your journey upwards. And it doesn't mean that you're not loyal. You can still love them. You still care for them. You still support them. But I'm just saying that your commitment to their life must be regulated, and the power they have over your life must be regulated to align with the growth that you need per season. So if it's a partner that you've done very well with at a particular season, and you need to shift and he can't shift with you, let him be. Find a new partner that can align with your new level of growth. Don't force it. We just feel like, so there's a place for loyalty. There's a place for loyalty where you are loyal to people that are in your life or you are in their lives for a particular reason. That loyalty is a currency that we cannot toy with. But sometimes we apply loyalty differently. I don't know if that's making sense to you. I mustn't call you every day to prove that I'm loyal to you. There's a time that I called you every day because that season required it. But the point is going to come that we can't talk every day. I can't even tell you everything anymore. You know what I'm saying? We are close, but I can't tell you everything anymore. There's a time I told you everything. But now, where I am, I can't tell you. It doesn't mean I'm not loyal to you anymore. You see, because the season requires something else and maybe someone else. And usually we force people into new seasons. And that's why, you see, even the Bible talks about putting aside every weight that besets. Because there are weights that beset. Yes. And those weights are not always things, they are people. Some of those weights are even your parents. There was a time that you did everything they said. There's a time that will come that everything they will say, you have to do the opposite of it. Because in love, they will bring you down. In love, they will bring you down. Yes. So, does that make sense?
Wow.
Wow. I think we have just 4 more minutes.
Yes.
Let's take one more question.
That's the last one.
Okay.
I'm starting my new business.
Okay.
I want to sell water bottles or something. Speaking to you that has already come far. So what can you advise me that are non-negotiables when I'm beginning my business or when I'm at a particular stage in my business, like in the early stages? What do I say no to? Because I know people that have faced business and clients that are ready to like really hold down your business for you. There are things that those clients can tell you to change. And because you need their money, you won't bend. You won't, because they would help you probably reach the next stage.
Yeah.
So what do I consider non-negotiable in my business or in my relationship as I progress?
2 things, structure and pedigree. Structure, never compromise structure. And in one of being my hosts, someone asked me, is my business too small to have a structure? I said, no. No matter how small your business is, every business requires structure. Structure is meant to be a culture. And culture is not influenced by size. Do you understand? So you can embrace culture at every level. If it's a desired culture that is aimed at achieving something, like structure, for example, is the goal. So build a culture of structure. So keep your records. Build a system by which you run the business. And let someone not come and say, because we're just a one small shop in one corner in one village, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We will sweep once in 1 week. No, sweep every morning. It's a culture. Every morning you must sweep this place, clean every place, let it smell nice. And but nobody they come here now. It doesn't matter. Sweep, because the time will come, you have a business that everybody comes to.
True.
But you build that culture when nobody is coming. So the structure is something that is non-negotiable. Then number 2 is pedigree. Let people know you for a standard. Even if it's ice water, there's a difference between bottled water and pure water then pure water and ice water. You know ice water? The way you take normal well water, you put inside nylon, you tie, put inside the freezer.
Just a great block.
That's ice water. So if you are selling ice water, sell it with pedigree, with a standard, right? Not the one you sell ice water, you put ice water with ice fish inside freezer.
Inside the same fridge.
You know what I'm saying, right? So someone that takes your water to drink, they will not drink your water and be smelling like fish. Because you have put the water and fish together. It's a pedigree problem. Create that devotion to high pedigree. No matter how low you start. Do you get it now? You are sewing cloths for people. Don't just sew cloth. There's no now come, you just chuck it in the hand. No. Get a nice nylon. Fold it. Iron it. It doesn't cost extra. Buy charcoal iron. Let it be a culture of pedigree. Do you understand? So the two things I will always advise that you never toy with. And I've been that way all my life. All my life. Even when I had nothing. I won't do it if there's no pedigree to it. At least to the scale that I was, I will do it with pedigree. Do you understand? To that level. When we began the foundation many years ago, you know, I had the launch of the foundation in my living room. This was, I think, 2012 or 2010. You know, and we're very few people in the living room, but I made it feel very important. We could rise. You know, I couldn't do it like Bill Gates Foundation, right? But I mean, I just wanted to create that sense of pedigree. So that even the people, my friends, they were all my friends. You know, I just got them to the parlor of my house then in Federal Locust, Jos. And we're all there, but there was pedigree. I saved money and made t-shirts for them. You know, then t-shirts were not very popular. This branded shirts. They wore branded shirts. I made rice and chicken. So they were eating we gave them like, you know, loads, you know. So they felt like, it's like international NGO. Just in my living room in Jos. Just in my living room in Jos. With my small earning. But there had to be some measure of excellence to get. So that and structure, those are the two things I will tell you. Never, ever compromise. Whatever it is you want to start, whether it's with 10,000 or 10 million, there must be a sense of pedigree in the structure of what you do and in the way you deliver it to your clients. Put efforts to excellence, to show a pedigree. Let it look like you are not on everybody's level. That extra, always put in the extra. I think we're out of time.
So, if I wasn't the host, I would have probably have my books on. This is lovely.
Thank you so much.
Honored to be here to have Apeh Harrison teach on this. It was lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Well done. Thank you so much. God bless. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.